The Congressional Black Caucus kicked off the new year with a ceremonial swearing in its largest membership in history, 49 members. This year's new members include the Senator from California, Kamala Harris, Congressman Anthony Brown of Maryland, Florida's Lawson. We were there for the ceremony and heard from several veteran members about the importance of the Congressional Black Caucus.
Congratulations, Godspeed, and continue to be the conscience of the Congress.
If we fail to learn the lessons of our history, we are bound to repeat them. We are here today in the hopes that all of us have learned the lessons of our history. We're here today to install new offices for the Congressional Black Caucus that sit before you today in historic numbers.
2016 is now in our rearview mirror. What a year. We find ourselves facing a very difficult political and legislative environment, unlike any that we have ever seen before. But I promise you, the CBC will rise to the occasion and we will meet these new challenges. The consequences are too enormous for us to be indecisive and allow ultra-conservative forces and the forces of the alt-right to defend our nation. We will be strategic and we will be unified in our work. There is no question that this brother, Cedric Richmond, Generation X, is well suited and well prepared to lead us in confronting these new challenges. Cedric, this is your time. I look forward to working with you, and most importantly, I look forward to following your leadership as you lead 49 members of this great caucus, the largest caucus in our history.
We were speaking of Cedric Richmond of New Orleans, the new chair. I caught up with Representative Richmond after the ceremony to talk about the focus of the CBC moving forward.
In terms of the Congressional Black Caucus, I think that there's strength in unity, strength in numbers. And we do have 49 different voices, but we have one common goal, and that is to fight for black people across the country, throughout the world, fight for poor people, fight for justice, fight for equality. And that unites us, and we're going to continue to do that no matter who's in the White House, even if it's not the person that most of us would have picked. We still have a job to do. We've been through rougher periods in our past, and we're ready for this challenge also.
Already, obviously, Republicans want to target the Affordable Care Act. That's been crucial to many African Americans, but also other Americans as well.
Well, part of our job as Democrats and the Congressional Black Caucus is to educate people throughout the country that the Affordable Care Act is not just for African Americans, that there are many poor white people through rural areas and urban centers that benefit from the Affordable Care Act, especially when you start talking about pre-existing conditions, children under 26 being able to stay on their parents' health care. It's a phenomenal piece of legislation. It may need some tweaks, but you can't argue with the spirit of it and the effectiveness now that so many more millions of people are covered. So we're going to fight to protect it.
Took President Barack Obama a year to meet with the CBC. Do you hope, have you already sent a letter to President-elect Donald Trump saying he should sit down with the Congressional Black Caucus to hear what your agenda is?
Well, we're going to finalize our agenda in the forthcoming days. And when the president is elected, we look forward to talking to him. And if he's serious about outreach to African-American communities, then we will engage and we will have conversations and we will help educate him on what the African-American community needs, because we've been in the trenches for a very long time. But I would just tell you that his first appointments or nominations have not been received as a gesture of goodwill or an effort to find common ground. So we just look forward to the challenge and anticipate it's going to be a challenge until we see otherwise.
Last question, what do you say to folks who go, okay, we don't even know what the CBC does. What is their relevance? What do you say to those folks who say that? I hear it all the time.
Well, you can point to a number of things. You can just point to just over the last 4 months that the people of Flint, Michigan are going to get aid for their water crisis because the Congressional Black Caucus stood up and demanding that it be inserted into a piece of legislation. So we're still working, and we will continue to work. And if you just ask students that are at HBCUs, it's our work that help get student plus loan, parent plus loans corrected a little bit against a department that was going in another direction. So we still have work to do, and we're going to continue to do it. But as long as there are people out there that find themselves in circumstances that are beyond their capacity through no fault of their own, we're going to help, no matter who they are, where they are. Whether it's flooding victims in Baton Rouge or South Carolina and other places for natural disasters, or whether it's children in Flint, Michigan, who had nothing to do with the water supply, which was done by bureaucrats to save money and not look at the greater purpose. We're going to be there to fight.
All right, then. Folks, real quick. Lauren?
I mean, I think they have, we've yet to heard an articulated strategy, not only just from the caucus, but the House Democrats and really the Senate Democrats as well. We're hearing we're going to oppose, we're going to block, we're going to do this, but we're not hearing specific strategy. It's going to be interesting to see what we hear after the president leaves today about whether or not there really is a strategy to stop Donald Trump.
Greg, one of the things that I asked Representative Richmond that question for a reason. I hear it all the time. Oh, my God, they're useless, they do nothing. The average person has no clue the stuff that a member of Congress does. When people have issues in their district, when it comes to their checks, when they need help, when it comes to grants, it's a whole bunch of stuff that's arcane, whether it's taking stuff out. I remember, I mean, look, during the first couple of years of President Obama, the Black Caucus got, the reason that you had $4 billion that was in the financial reform bill was because of Representative Maxine Waters and Gregory Meeks and others. They fought the White House on it. And people were saying y'all shouldn't oppose the president. That was $4 billion.
Yes, sir. Constituent services, and I laughed, Roland, because when you said that, it looks like the average member of Congress right now doesn't know what a member of Congress does. the Republicans lost seats in the House of Representatives and the Senate. So and if you look at the local level, look at New York, for example. You got Yvette Clarke, you got folks fighting. You heard Cedric talk about this question of plus loans. But at the state level now, Cuomo signed some piece yesterday, say if your family makes less than $125,000, you get tuition free at state colleges. The CBC has to push that at the national level, and they do that.
Real quick, Angela and Chris, Will Hurd of Texas, not a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, so is Senator Tim Scott, not a member, but Mia Love of Utah is a member.
Yeah, I'm excited about the historic numbers here for the Congressional Black Caucus.
The largest caucus in the entire Democratic Party.
And I'm also excited about Speaker Ryan having the first black African-American chief of staff, and Senator Scott and Senator Lankford in very high positions in the Senate. So I'm looking forward to democracy playing itself out, and I think that as America is in a new place, we've got a lot of opportunities.
Well, Chris, I'm looking forward to some policies that black people care about. Speaker Ryan backs.
Yeah, and I absolutely, and I think if the Congressional Black Caucus decides that it wants to be a true opposition party, that's what it needs to do.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not gonna let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this. If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.